I'm a nice person, but there comes a point when I need that little space.
Yeah.
I need that little wall.
Yeah.
When people are trying to record me in the bathroom, I'm like, yeah, hey, come on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, by the way. I didn't,
Yeah.
I like,
It,
I saw you. I got excited.
I told you. It's like, take
I
it
gotta
easy.
start taking your advice.
Listo, pisto?
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes,
you're on Checkitow.
I'm gonna check it out.
You were telling me before we started that I stole this from Angel Salazar.
Angel Salazar, comedian Angel Salazar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were telling me that he's the one that actually.
He was the one. My understanding was that he was the one responsible for coaching Al Pacino in Scarface.
Okay, then he's the one to blame. Because Al Pacino kept that accent for the rest of his career. Did you notice that scent of a woman? It's like he never dropped Tony Montana. Man, it's crazy.
He's still Tony Montana.
I know. So it's been a few years since I talked to you. It was a few years ago. You were killing it on the stand-up tour. Now you have your own show, Mr. Iglesias.
I know,
On
right?
Netflix. I like it. So
Subscribe.
I can see. Yeah.
I think it's still $9.99. Is it $9.99? I think it's 11 now.
I think we're gonna get the fluffy discount.
Okay.
Tell me about the show, man. Like I read and you said that if you weren't gonna be a stand-up comedian, you would have been a history teacher. So is that the way the show idea came out? Like,
Who knows what teacher?
Yeah.
I mean, whether it was history or PE teacher. Yeah, no, not PE. I would have just been a teacher. I'm not sure what kind of teacher, but I had taken a course in high school called exploratory teaching, and we would go and teach in front of little kids at elementary schools. It was a program, and they said I was really good at it, and they offered me a full scholarship.
Wow.
And it was one of those, when I passed on it, everyone was really upset, especially my mom.
because
Yeah, because
a Mexican family is like,
but
this is a real job.
This was legit.
Were you already doing stand-up comedy at the time?
No, I wasn't. But I knew that I wanted to do stand-up, and I knew that if I was going to become a teacher, that was a full commitment. And I don't half-ass anything. I go all the way in or all the way out.
Yeah, it'd be hard to
So-
teach by day and do stand-up by night.
Thank you.
You'd probably get in trouble.
Uh,
although you don't really get in trouble for your comedy, but
but-
sometimes.
Yeah, but not necessarily for the, you never know lifestyles. People go out, you drink, something happens, social media, boom.
That's
Yeah.
the thing about being a comedian. When you come up, you gotta stay out late. You gotta just commit yourself that you're gonna be out at night.
That was part of the deal. I was working for a company called LA Cellular. It later became AT&T, selling cell phones back before iPhones. I was selling a big ass brick phone,
Right.
and it was a really good job. I was clearing $5,000 a month after taxes
Wow.
because I was working, commissions and stuff like that, and so I was killing it.
That's
I
good
was-
Long Beach
I-
money because you grew up in Long Beach, right?
You got to figure my rent, half my rent, because I had a roommate. Half my rent was $350 a month. So imagine that, the amount of just disposable. Like I was buying leather jackets and all kinds of stupid crap.
And then you went to doing stand-up comedy for free for several years.
Yeah,
right?
well, I was doing comedy at night and I
Okay.
had that job during the day.
Ah.
Problem is, like you said, you got to stay out late to make the connections, to talk to people, to find out where the next gig is at. And this was before social media, so you had to really be social.
Wow.
And I was burning the candle at both ends, and my work started suffering during the day because I was so sleepy.
What did your family think when you told them I'm going to be a professional stand-up comedian? This is for real. Trust me, this is for real.
Well, I'm not gonna say that my mom was supportive, but she didn't tell me. She wasn't encouraging, but she wasn't discouraging. She was more so like she just wanted me to be happy, but she knew that the job that I had benefits. I had PPO insurance, and I had never known what that was. And so she was like, "Mijo, you're giving up PPO," and I'm like, I was very young at the time, and so I didn't care about insurance. I had no problems. I couldn't understand how awesome I had it, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe ignorance is bliss because
Yeah.
I didn't know how important
You need to be a little delusional, especially when you're pursuing something like stand-up comedy. But you didn't go for the obvious PP joke when she said you're going to lose your PPO?
Yeah, I know, right? No, my family, my family, they were supportive to an extent.
Right.
But when they saw that I was getting evicted from my apartment,
Right.
they're looking for my car. The repo man's looking for my car. The bills are starting to stack up. Now it's like, no, you need to, get your butt back to work.
When did they realize? Because when did you realize that it was real for you? But I think I'm almost more interested in when did your family realize that it was real for you, that you were going to be a professional stand-up?
I think they knew I was serious. When I was willing to sacrifice, the car, the lifestyle that I had, making that kind of money, they knew, okay, he's serious about it. But it was up to me to do it. They can only encourage me or discourage me so much.
What did they think when they saw you for the first time in front of a big crowd?
I don't know what they thought.
Did you not want to know? Are you one of these, like in the beginning, did you not really want to know what people, like if they laughed, they laughed. If they didn't, they didn't. You didn't necessarily want people's opinion after the show? Or were you seeking
if
for
it's
it?
strangers, that's one thing. But family, it's like family was forbidden to be at the shows, period.
Really?
Yeah, especially front row. If they're in the front row, it would mess me
What
up.
about friends? Did you tell them to go sit in the back too?
Yeah, friends, family, anybody was not allowed in the
That's
front.
amazing.
I cannot recognize anyone in the front row or it bothers me.
It makes it, because I dabbled in stand-up comedy a few years ago. It's true. I'd rather perform in front of a group of strangers and try to make them laugh, because I made the mistake of going back to Miami, where I'm from, and I did my first show there, and it was a room, 100 people, 99 of them were my friends. The worst show. They just sat there and judged me. They didn't laugh. They just sat there with these faces like...
You need strangers. You need to be new in front of someone.
You need
again.
strangers in your life. That's funny.
Right?
Now, this show, Mr. Iglesias, it's a throwback, right? It's a throwback to those fun sitcoms that we grew up in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a live studio audience. Some people say, "Oh, it's canned laughter." I go, "No, it's not canned. It's not a button that makes the laughs. That's some of those Spanish shows.
Yeah.
You hear, "No, Pepito, quiero más," and then they hit the button and there's a laugh track. It's not like that. There's like 200 people there. And for me, it makes it more organic, because single cam, there's no one there to let you know you're doing good or doing bad.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure the director will say, "Oh, it was okay, that was fine."
Right.
But I need feedback. I need instant feedback so that I know, up the performance or bring it down.
But what if you got to do like one scene over and over again? Does the crowd get weary? Does the crowd get a little like, tired of laughing the same joke?
If I got to do this, and believe it or not, yeah, we'll do the scene 2, 3, 4 times. But each time I'll say or change something just to make it a little bit different and fun for me and fun for them.
What were you like in high school?
Quiet.
Really?
Very quiet.
I actually have someone here that went to Woodrow Wilson in Long Beach.
Yes.
We have somebody here that was like a freshman or sophomore when you were a senior. They said that you were sociable, that you were like the nice guy, a fun guy.
Yeah, but I wasn't outspoken. I wasn't like all up in the mix with everything. And whenever they would have like the rallies every Friday for the football games and stuff, I wasn't all like, "Yay!" I had maybe 4 friends in high school, like real friends, and I still have 2 of them in my life. So yeah.
What did the other 2 do?
Numbers aren't always important. It's a quality, not quantity.
Were you a good student?
No, I wasn't. I was a really bad student. I was a bad student, but that was by choice.
That's funny. Did you ever like have class clown moments where like, I'm funny, I can
No, I was never trying to do that. That's not me. I'm not always trying to get the attention. I'm not always trying to get the laughs and stuff like that. I'm very reserved. I'm just chill.
So then when you got up on stage and started doing stand up, how did you evolve to that point? Like, were you telling jokes to your friends?
Because that's where it happens, bro. That's where it happens.
But how did you know your jokes were funny before you like?
I didn't. I don't know if it's
you weren't cracking jokes at your mom or your friends at all. They were all up in your head. You were having funny thoughts in your head. You're like, I bet this would work in stand up.
I don't test on friends or family, because it's friends and family.
Don't you hate when comedians test their bit out like at a party? Like when especially you, I can imagine all the rising comedians.
I know a lot of annoying comics. Don't join the list, bro.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Don't join the list.
They come up and they do their bit, and you're like, I know you're doing a bit. Just talk to me regularly.
Just be cool. I mean, there's some people that never turn it off.
Do you just torn up, because there's people like, there's still some major comedians like Bill Burr and they'll pop into the Comedy Store and do a 7, 10, 15-minute set. Do you still do stuff like that, or because you're touring so much?
I will still pop into clubs, but it depends on depends on availability and stuff like that, and sometimes a little bit of free time is nice, because
Right.
I am on the road 4 or 5 sometimes the entire week.
Right.
And Fluffy needs a break.
I
Every
know.
now and then.
I can imagine.
But I do like going out, and
Yeah.
there's no pressure if I go to a club. If I go to a club, it's to hang out and talk to some friends, and if I do 5 minutes, that's cool.
Now, your show is also pretty landmark. It's landmark for Latino comedians to have a network come and say, we're just going to build a show around you. Regardless of what that show turns out to be, whether you're a history teacher or a cop, we want to build a show around you. How did it get to that point, you think?
I got the opportunity from ABC Television first. They greenlit a pilot out the gate, and so I had that, to get to that point is really, really hard.
Right.
So the fact that was given to me, the president of ABC at that time had come to my show at the Ice House, and next thing I know, he's in the dressing room and he goes, "Listen, you're gonna get a pilot," and I'm like, "Wow!" President of ABC's in there, and he's telling me I'm gonna get a pilot. Yeah. And he kept his word. I got the pilot. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but I was given a second opportunity, and that one didn't work out either. And then Netflix, they came to the table and they said, "Look, no pilot. series.
Wow.
So we got to make sure that you're paired up with the right, right producer.
Now you've been putting out comedy specials on Netflix, so there was already a relationship there.
I already had a relationship there, and the executive producer Kevin Hench, one of the executive producers, he already had a deal with Netflix, so it made sense. Okay, here's the talent that we like. Here's the guy that's gonna, write it, show run it, and everything, and 1 and 1 is 2, and equals 3. So once you get Netflix in the mix,
that for sure. Netflix is huge. It's an empire now. What was the original pilot about? If you don't mind me asking, what were you a teacher then, or was it just about your life, or
the ones
for ABCs? Yeah.
Well, those I couldn't carry those over because ABC owns those. I was I was playing myself.
Right.
The life that I had when I come home from the road. Everybody knew I was a comic, so it was the life when I came home. What created all that material on the road?
Right.
So it sounded like a good idea. Like, okay, this is the life,
But what I like about Mr. Iglesias is it's very relevant for our times because you're dealing with, kids, you're dealing with some of the issues, you're dealing with kids that, are obviously underrepresented communities and trying to understand how to reach them in a different way. And obviously you have a way to reach people. Is that important? Is that like the theme of the show? Was that something that you guys spent a lot of time talking about, or did it just come kind of come with them?
No, you explained it perfectly. Yeah. That was very nice.
Okay, so the next time you need to explain it to any Netflix executives in the marketing department, can you just bring me in?
That was clean. Okay. It was pretty clear. You got it.
I gotta ask. I know you've talked about this, but the incident a few years ago where you got pulled over in Arizona for a green card, what the hell happened with that? With the crazy Sheriff Joe, was he part of that?
Yeah. I don't think he was part. I didn't see him that day. No. It was my tour bus, and the tour bus was wrapped.
They stopped the tour bus.
They stopped the tour bus, and we all had to get off the bus. And they searched us, and it was like, it's funny now, but at the time I'm like, really? Dogs and everything. They
And they asked you for your green card?
They didn't ask for a green card, but it was like they just wanted to make sure that everything was on the up and up.
But did they know who you were?
Well, my face was on the side of the bus.
What the? Did you you think I'm sneaking across the border in a bus with my face on it?
With my face on it. It wasn't it wasn't. Going from like Mexico to United States, right. It was one of those checkpoints that they have.
You don't belong here. That bus with your face on it doesn't belong in a small town, Arizona town.
They figured out there must be about 30 of them in there. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, Gabriel Iglesias is sneaking people in.
But this was when
you were a coyote on the side.
Barely, right, side gig. Things were barely starting to kick off, and it was my first tour.
Wow.
But yeah, that happened.
That's why they hadn't been to your show. Can you imagine if those cops? I'm sure chances are one of those cops has either rented one of your comedy specials or seen your show.
I'm sure of it. But again, it's
bro. There are no Mexicans in Arizona. Obviously, they are. Like, what the hell? Jesus Christ, man! If you're gonna harass Fluffy, I mean, then that's here obviously like looking.
I was lucky. I was able to take those couple pics.
Wow.
So, but they're like, yeah, okay.
You should drive down that road.
I've been down there.
I'm looking at it. You guys gonna stop me now? All right.
Since then.
But
también, dude, don't go looking for it.
No.
Because right now you're like,
I know.
Don't look for it. If you look for it, you're gonna find it.
I know, but if anyone can handle it, it's you, bro. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm not looking to get pulled over, man. Not anymore. I do the limit. I got good insurance. I keep everything.
You got nice. Good insurance.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I got fast cars, but I keep it at the limit. I'm not.
I feel you, man. And okay, I gotta ask all big men about this. How do you feel about Andy Reese winning the heavyweight championship of the world?
That for me was an awesome moment. I cried. I was
really?
in Canada. I was in Canada, and I was watching the fight on my phone right before I went up on stage. And when he won, it was just it was a Super Bowl right there. It was such a beautiful moment, and it just you knew that there was going to be a lot of change that happened when it happened. And I got emotional, and I was crying, and then I had to go up on stage, and I told the crowd, "Hey guys, Mexican heavyweight champion of the world, first time ever." And the crowd was like, whatever, because I'm in Canada. And I said, I want you to understand what this is like for me. I says, right now the Raptors are in the championship. And if they win, it's going to be huge for this country. I go, this is my Raptors moment right now. And then I said, the fact that I look like the guy.
Right.
Because I've been mistaken for him twice now.
Really?
Yes.
He does kind of look like you, man.
I was like, okay, I never thought in a million years I'd be mistaken for the world heavyweight champion.
That's awesome. Now, but and as far as looking like him, like, what do you think? Because Stephen A. Smith from ESPN was like body shaming him, saying, "Oh, this doesn't look the way a heavyweight."
I saw that.
Yeah,
but I was on Twitter. I saw the
like. What the guy? First of all, I actually got a chance to interview him, and I saw one of his workouts. I've covered a lot of boxers over the course of the years. No one has ever had a thud. I'm talking about wind coming from his punches from a few feet away. Mm-hmm. I've never seen anyone hit as hard as him. Like
He's got a heavy hand.
He's super athletic.
I have a lot of friends that are in boxing, and
Yeah.
he's a heavy hand.
He's
Very
super
heavy hand.
athletic and quick. Snaps. It's like that Adonis type of body of muscle isn't one gives you the snap. It's tendons, it's ligaments, it's whatever he has under all that.
He's protecting it.
Yes.
He's got a good,
And the Snickers is awesome. I mean, he knows what he's doing with the endorsements. He talks about having a Snickers before every
The only
fight.
problem with that is that I did that a long time ago with chocolate cake, and now I can't stand chocolate cake. He's gonna make it rain Snickers, and he's not gonna like it because it's gonna be so much.
Right.
Be careful what you wish for, because if you get it, it's
What was you? I think
20 years from now they're gonna be giving him Snickers.
Yeah, I know. He's
And
like,
he's
no
just gonna
more,
be
no
like,
mas, no mas.
Yeah, he's gonna be asking for insulin.
That's crazy. You knew Felipe Esparza early on.
I had
because-
no idea who you're talking about. No clue.
What was he like in the beginning?
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Oh, okay. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Dude, I want to play a game with you since it's history. Okay? Since you're a history, you got to know your history. Do you know your history?
Hell no, I don't know my history.
Well, then we're gonna play a game called
A
historical or hysterical. Meaning, is this true or is this just crazy shit that I'm making up?
All right.
First one. There was a Roman Empire once called Caligula, and he was crazy. He ended up marrying his sister and making his favorite horse the general of war for all of the Roman Empire. Is that historical or hysterical?
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds crazy, but I think it's true.
Ding, you got it right. Okay, but you had a little help there. You had a little help. Who's okay? You guys are Caligula fans.
Hey man,
Watch the movie.
How
Watch
come
the
you don't
movie.
have a bell? You gotta have a bell.
I
Bing, bing,
ding.
got
No,
it
you know
right.
what? I had props, but I was so excited to see you today. I left it in my house.
Are you gonna put it in post? Put it in post.
Yes.
A little
Ding.
Okay.
Second one. When the guy believed to be Pancho Villa was confronted by the U.S. Army in the early 1900s, and he famously said, "Badges. We don't need no stinking badges." What actually happened is that he heard the guy say badgers, and Pancho Villa, when he was a kid, was attacked by a pack of badgers. So what he really said was, "Badgers. We don't need no stinking badgers." Historical or hysterical?
Are there badgers in Mexico? I don't know. I say hysterical.
Okay, right. You know where I got that from, actually? Do you remember the movie UHF with Weird Al
Weird Al
Yankovic?
Yankovic.
Do you remember the guy, the Mexican guy that collected badgers? And by the way, I don't even think it was Pancho Villa that said that. I just wanted to make the joke because it's one of my favorite jokes.
Hey, I want to say that I thought it was gonna be Three Amigos, but was that
It might have been
it
Three
might have
Amigos.
been
It might have been Three
It's
Amigos.
been a while.
That's actually a good movie. Last one. Once upon a time, there was this football league called the USFL, and a man named Donald Trump bought a team in New York. And at the last second, he pulled out, and this entire league went kaput. It was destroyed because Donald Trump had a tantrum or something. Historical or hysterical?
I heard something about that. I'm gonna guess on this one. I'm gonna say it's true.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It's crazy stuff. Okay, not to get into politics because whatever, but any thoughts
Wait,
on...
did I get a bell? Did I get a
Ding,
bell on that?
ding!
Okay.
Any thoughts on the commander-in-chief and how he's handling his job the past couple of years?
I think it's one of those, you watch the news, you'll figure it out.
Do you watch the news? Because I'm trying to... I'm just pulling away. I'm not even watching it anymore.
The for me to enjoy it and listen and pay attention, it's got to be presented in a way where I like it. So I'll watch some of the late shows, Daily Show or Last Week Tonight, or stuff like that. To actually sit and watch the news, like world news,
Right.
Not my cup of tea. I'd rather just, because it's too much.
Right.
It's too much. And with my shows, I try to keep it very, very light, fluffy, if you will.
Right.
And I'm not there to report the news.
Exactly. You want to give people an escape.
I try to stay out of it.
You came up through stand up, all right, and you're the quintessential stand up comedian in a lot of ways. What do you think about today's crop of stand up comedians coming up where they feel they got to do the YouTube thing or the Instagram thing, and it's not really stand up, they feel they have to acquire a following, and they're not really necessarily, they're doing the same jokes every thing, and they're just trying to be big online. Do you have to be big online to be big up on the stand up stage, or can you just hit the comedy club like you used to and just kind of work your way up through live shows?
I used to think that, today's comics are doing things the wrong way. But then you got to realize, these are the times.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way things roll now, and you can either think back the way that you used to think and assume that that's always going to be the right way, or you can just say, hey, you know what? All right, I see that they're doing it their own way. Every generation does it their own way. This is the new, because I came up during flyers. Remember flyers? Before social media,
they'd be littered all over the Sunset Boulevard.
You had to go to a print shop and put a picture and artwork, and it was always too busy.
Yeah,
always too busy. You'd look at him like you throw it, and you have to put flyers on cars or talk to people. Mm-hmm. That's when I came up in the comedy scene, and so there was no Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. There was none of that. You had to talk to people. You had to be funny. You had to get the word out. You were trying your best to get on the Tonight Show, get on any type of show, so that people would know who you were.
Right.
And then, a few years later, internet, social media, MySpace happened, Dane Cook happened. Once Dane Cook was the one that started that whole thing, and everyone took notice. This dude's in arenas. Like, really? No one ever thought of being a comic in an arena. The only other person we'd heard of doing stand-up in an arena was Andrew Dice Clay.
Right.
And what put him there was the fact that he got banned from MTV.
Yeah.
So he got all that publicity from that, and he became like, we got to go see him.
Maybe I should just get banned off Twitter, which is easy.
But it's very, very easy. or not easy, depending on who you are.
I know. But are you happy you didn't come up through that? Are you happy that you went through the flyer, talked to people? Like,
well, I mean,
I know that you are online a lot, but
it's experience. And for me, I'm always on social media. No one tells me you need to do that. I enjoy it. I like being in the mix and doing stuff
so this
like
is a question, and you know what? I want to bring, because we were talking about this. Let me bring in our resident millennial here, my boy Bruno. He's going to join us for the last few minutes of the podcast. Bruno, Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, you might recognize him.
How are you?
Let's make sure we got.
What year were you born?
1992.
Okay.
I'm right in the middle. True millennial. Unfortunately.
Yeah, he is a true millennial. I'm like on the border. I think that like we're on the late. I'm like right on the border between Gen X and millennial. You're like towards the end of Gen X, so you're a part millennial-ish. So we were talking yesterday about, let's ask him some millennial questions. I wonder how many social media accounts he manages, and then you respond with what most people would think. He probably has people doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like most people.
But I'm curious.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you view social media, and do you think it's important to have your voice, or do you think it's the branding play is more important?
I think all of it is important.
Okay.
And again, you have to adjust to the times. Mm-hmm. If you continue, you can't be a comic right now with flyers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to adjust and you got to change. So yes, I had my opinion about the way comics are doing it now, but this is how you got to do it now.
Do you? But which social media accounts do you actually handle yourself? Really?
All of them. Yeah.
Wow. But with a team, right? Well, are you every post is you, or every not when you're putting up like digital
so like
flyers.
For example, if it's promoting something like catch this show here, catch this show there, that's the team. Right. But if it's opinions or just, hey man, I just had a taco at freaking Pepe's on the corner, they put too much salsa, what the hell, and then hashtag flames.
That wasn't your social media manager.
That's me. That's me. I run my own Instagram, my own Twitter. Facebook is hard because it's 9 million people on there, and it's hard to run that.
Yeah.
But the other ones, it's me.
Amazing.
And it is important. Social media is very, very important. It's free promotion. You don't need Hollywood if you got social media and you got enough numbers. Yeah. That's why all these YouTubers are big and why Hollywood's taking notice, and they're like, well, we need to get these people involved in our projects.
Right.
Because they found a way to get in without going through the direct, through the Hollywood.
But mold. But it feels like the golden era of being able to grow organically is coming to a close. Let's be honest. Now you got to kind of pay to play a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Or already have the following, like you already established that following.
But even if you have that following, you still got to, certain accounts and certain social media platforms, you got to pay to play.
Look, it's summertime, and the living's easy. To quote one of my favorite bands, Sublime. Were you into Sublime back in the day? Long Beach, man.
Well, Long Beach, yeah. I mean, he died before he saw the success of the album.
Dude, yeah. He was a white guy who on every album had a Spanish song. You got to give him credit. Right?
Well, if you live in Long Beach, you're going to hear some Spanish.
You're going to hear some Spanish.
You're going to hear some Spanish.
So let's talk about what makes summer for us. I grew up in Miami. He grew up here in LA, more towards the west side. You grew up in Long Beach. What do you guys think makes like a good summer? What's summer for you?
No school.
Mr. Iglesias, who's teaching history in his new show on Netflix.
No school. But here's the thing. Every summer, I wound up in summer school. I was always in summer school.
Okay.
So for me, having a year where I didn't go to summer school, that was the summer.
What are the millennials valuing?
Because it meant that I could sleep in.
Oh, true.
It meant that I could sleep in. I could watch TV. I could just chill at the house.
Dude, then you're not a morning person.
I'm not a morning person.
Then even more reason to thank you for coming in early today. Neither are we, by the way. What are the millennials into as far as summer? What does summer mean for you guys?
Wow. Most millennials are into their phones. So for me, I like to get away from my phone, go out into
It's
the beach.
hard, though.
It's hard. It's really
hard. 'Cause
hard.
then you get that little pocket itch.
Yeah.
You're feeling around
Right?
for it.
And
And
you're
you're like, oh, yeah, I left it back
bro,
over
the other
there.
day, I was watching something on my phone and started looking in my pocket for my phone. And then I was like, maybe I have a problem. You know what I mean?
I know for a fact that I think I would be a lot more productive if I didn't have my cell phone.
Yeah.
More productive in my personal and real life as opposed to entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment, you need it. I'm always on it. I'm always engaging. Always making sure that
So good, yeah.
that I'm staying in touch with the fans.
Right.
But for me, I find myself locked in rooms at times on the phone, and I'm like, I should really put this down and go out and get some air, go take a drive, go take a walk, something.
Right, yeah.
And I feel a lot of times I'm held back by my phone.
Do you
Well-
bring it to the bathroom?
Yeah, that's my office. I call it the office.
Wait, no matter what, we're talking about number one, number two, shower,
I got
right?
an office. Yeah, I
have a full desk?
I have an office, but the bathroom is where I spend most of my time
Okay.
and where I engage with most of my my team.
That makes
I'm always
sense.
on the phone in the bathroom.
Okay.
And I even got an outlet right next to the toilet, so I got
There you go.
I got my long cord that I got at Costco.
There you go.
And I plug in and it's on.
That's hilarious.
And the Wi-Fi's strong in there.
Epic.
It's
Yeah.
That's hilarious. You take a shower, the phone's there by the
the
sink.
phone's right there.
Okay.
So that's why I know. I have a problem with where I can't leave it alone.
So that's pretty millennial of you, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like everything is right here. So it's like, contact the world. Freaking, I keep my credit cards, ID, everything is right here. So it's all in one.
You know where
Now
that's
Now
at.
the people
And I-
know. Now the people
And
know. where
I
you-
refuse to give up the headphone jack. Look at, I still got a 6.
Good for you, man.
I still got a
I'm
6.
so upset with Apple with the headphone thing. It's like, what's wrong with normal
Freaking
headphones?
dongle?
Yeah. It's
What?
like, what?
I hate those little
It's
white
like-
things
they
that
look
people
s-
wear.
the
Because have you
AirPods.
never seen? That's what they're called.
AirPods. Yeah.
Have people that wear that ever seen the movie Something About Mary? You know what I'm saying? Like the scene, the scene where like he has something that looks like that white thing dripping from his ear.
Yeah.
That's what I'm reminded of every time I see somebody with those things. Like at least make them black.
Oh my God.
You know, bro, like seriously. Do you have a pair?
I have a few.
Don't.
I have a few.
Can you get them in a different color?
Get 'em. Hey, all they had was
And-
white.
all they got is
Well,
white.
if they have a different color and you buy a different color, can I just take credit for like bringing this to your attention?
I never thought about that. But yeah, I can see it.
I probably think about
I
that
can
too
see
much.
it. I don't want to know.
we don't know what he does in the bathroom. I mean,
Well, I leave my phone out. I actually take my phone in, but like I don't know. Bathroom time is sacrosanct. I keep my phone not in the bedroom anymore. I actually do take another phone with me to listen to podcasts, but I don't want people like I don't want to be woken up by like a phone, or I don't want it stresses me out. I have my people on the East Coast. They're calling me like they don't realize there's a 3-hour difference. Like you, I need my full rest, man, or else I'm cranky.
I need my full rest.
Bro, so how do you get it on tour though, man? You are touring non-stop, bro. Aren't you tired of planes?
Well, we're flying private right now, so
Oh,
I
that's
can,
a different story, huh?
it's pretty good. It's private jets and tour buses right now. But even when I was going commercial, I love traveling. I love getting it's what I love to do. I would do it for free. Honestly, I would. I'm glad people pay, but I would do it for free.
How important is it for you to connect with people outside of your community, which you do? White people, Asian people, black people, as far as your audience?
For me, I always want to have more than less. And originally when I first started doing stand-up, I was performing in bars in East LA, and my act was very much performing to the people that I was in front of. So my show was that, like there's certain things I would talk about. I would incorporate Spanish. I would talk about the neighborhood things that I saw to make sure that it was a show specific for that group. And once I started traveling and realizing, you know what, I can't be doing all these East LA references and stuff like that if I'm performing. Like, for example, the first time I went to Florida, I was scared because I'm like, I hope the people in Florida get my material.
Totally.
And if you're concerned about whether or not you're in the same country,
Right.
there should be no reason why they shouldn't get it. But that's how tight I was with that originally when I first started. That I was like, oh shoot, okay.
Well, which part of Florida? Because the Florida that I grew up in, Miami, is basically another country. It's basically Latin America.
Well,
it's like the
Hialeah.
Caribbean. Yeah, Hialeah. You know it.
But I mean, I travel enough to now I see
Yeah.
I could do stuff like that, and so I realized I needed to have an act that traveled. If I wanted to be a touring comic, I needed to have an act that could go anywhere. And once I decided that I was going to go outside of the United States, I needed to make sure that it was something that everyone was going to relate to. So the fact that I talk about family, friends, being a fish out of water, doing characters, telling stories, I could take that show anywhere. And by taking out the cussing, I could definitely take it everywhere. Now I'll incorporate a little bit of cussing here and there. I'm over 40. Sometimes I don't give a shit. So it's like one of those,
Fluff don't crack, though.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good. But I had to make that conscious, like, all right, I got to make sure that I leave certain things out and put certain things in. So I stay out of politics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I stay out of politics.
I tried to drag him in a little earlier, but he didn't take the bait.
Stay out of politics.
He's smart.
Don't talk about religion because religion's a sensitive one too, where people get offended. Hey, my God's better than your God. How about we just don't even talk about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we keep it cool. And then avoiding sports, because no matter what sports will set people off. Number one.
Really?
Sports is number one for setting people off. You say the wrong team, you'll get booed.
But except Andy Reese, you're sticking with him no matter who gets
sports
offended.
Teams.
Teams. Okay.
Teams. So it's like, let's say, like in New York, for example, they got the Mets, they got the Yankees. It doesn't matter which one you say, you're gonna get booed,
right? Because
it's always. And then some people don't even like those teams.
Right.
Like, hey, freaking Boston! Like, oh shoot, it's one of those people will voice their opinion on sports. Politics, no matter what, you're gonna divide the audience, and so I don't want to do that. I want to bring people together. I don't want to divide them.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Last thing, and then we'll wrap. Generation. You said you're over 40, but your audience spans late teens to way older than you as well. And I
think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I kept a show that was very friendly, and people weren't afraid to bring their kids to the shows, and so that the people I was playing to said, you know what, this guy's okay, so I can bring my parents and I can bring the kids, and by them seeing it, then they're like, then they share with their friends, they share it with the, other people, and that's how it started to grow.
Now, as far as culturally though, you're very connected to both your Mexican culture and you also come across as very American as well. With like Bruno's generation, you can chime in on here. Do you think that his generation is a little bit more disconnected from their Mexican heritage, especially if their parents aren't immigrants? And like, because you're very American, like you started learning Spanish like fluently a little later, kind of. So, do you see that when his generation comes to shows, millennials, is there like a generation gap that you need to focus on with them?
I don't want to be that guy. In my day, we didn't have a little phone and you had to talk to a person. You could. Because then you sound like that dude, and it's like, no, it's just you gotta be willing to evolve. You gotta be willing to evolve, and if you're not willing to evolve, then you're gonna get left behind, and then you will become that guy. I realize that, like for me, like with social media, for example, I stopped at Snapchat. I refused to get on Snapchat because I saw Snapchat as something that was like, it's not me. It didn't feel natural. I feel, for me, Snapchat is a little bit too intrusive. Because anytime I get people that get in my face and they want to record something, this is what I don't like. Hey, can I take a picture? And then I'm like, sure, let's take a picture. Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm right here with Gabriel Iglesias. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I go, that's not a picture. That's a video. Well, it's a snap. Well, you want to see me snap? It's about to happen.
It's about to go down.
I always felt like Snapchat was the one that gave people that little extra. And so I stopped right there. I didn't go past that. I know that I for the sake of entertainment and growing the business, I should get into it. But I don't like it, and so I'm making that choice to know that, hey, I'm not growing in that particular social media, but I'm making that choice, and I'm willing to sacrifice losing certain people in that because I don't like that vibe.
I was very anti-Snapchat. Now you were big on Snapchat when it came out.
Briefly, but I also feel the same way. I think it gets too personal, and people start.
There comes a point when I mean, I'm a nice person, but there comes a point when I need that little space. I need that little wall.
Yeah.
When people are trying to record me in the bathroom, I'm like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, by the way. I didn't, I saw you. I got excited.
I told you. It's like,
I gotta start taking your advice.
Get it? Yeah.
The thing is that we tend to, shoot each other. When if we're in a stall next to each other, we feel like, hey, look, this is a great moment for Instagram. It's just,
but see, that's the difference, though. When you guys know each other, you're friends, you're cool and stuff like that. But when you got a complete stranger coming up to you, not good. And then you're an asshole for getting upset. Hey, you said we can come up and take a picture and say hi anytime we want. Well, like, dude, I'm in the middle.
Not at the urinal.
Not at the urinal. I know, and I told you, I'm sorry. It was my idea, not yours. I know.
No, there's a urinal, but then there's the one where you're sitting down.
Whoa.
That's when it's.
That's happened to you before?
Yes.
In the stall?
Yes.
What?
Either over or under.
No way.
Yes.
Jesus. That's the fight. Dude, where's your security, bro?
That's not.
And that's another thing too. It's like now I'm at a point where that's starting to become an issue.
Where you have to have a security guy.
I don't want that. I don't want to be that guy that has to have he's got his handler, he's got his freaking muscle right here with him, because I never want to feel like I'm detached from the public. Yeah. When I go to Starbucks, it's me and my dogs.
Right.
You know, but does it turn into a little bit of a show when I show up? Yeah. I like attention though, but when I feel like the safety of my dogs or me is threatened, that's when I'm
What kind of dogs do you have? Pit bulls, dog?
Chihuahuas, way. I got Chihuahuas.
The old school ones. You need a dog.
I do.
Are you gonna get yourself a Chihuahua?
So lonely. Yeah.
Okay.
I want a small dog. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. How do they?
If you get a Chihuahua, that'll be the most loyal dog you've ever had.
Really?
However, if you have friends,
That's what I've noticed.
Chihuahua's a very one-person type dog.
Mm-hmm.
But you go out with a couple of them?
Well, I have 2 Chihuahuas, so I mean, you know, they're cool with each other. They're a little pack.
Yeah.
And the small one is the one that runs the show. There's the small one, and then there's the bigger one.
It's always that way.
That makes sense.
And so a little Napoleonic complex on top of a Napoleonic complex.
And it's a girl.
On top of being a girl.
She runs it, man. She runs it.
So, man, what you're gonna be on tour all summer?
I don't stop.
Yeah.
I don't stop. I'm always out working.
Yeah.
I mean, when I leave here, I'm gonna go do another job.
And people can binge. Yeah, I bet.
I don't stop, bro.
I know, man.
Go.
And people can binge watch Mr. Iglesias on Netflix.
They can binge watch the show or the specials, whatever their heart's desire.
Dude, I feel inspired. No, more inspired. You're a motivator. You know
I've never been a motivator.
Well, you're motivating me because you don't stop. Bruno, we got up early today.
Yeah.
It was worth it. We're hanging here with Gabriel. Oh, hey, thank you so much for coming, man. We're going to be checking out the show. We'll check you out on the road. And, dude, have a good time out on your private plane. So don't get stopped in Arizona.
If I can just give a little bit of advice to a millennial.
Please.
If here.
Hey,
I'll keep an open mind about millennials as long as you keep an open mind about the people that were here before you. And just know that, hey, let's be cool.
We're cool, man.
Let's be cool.
We're cool,
Let's be cool.
I have so much respect. And I think it's important for all millennials. I'm not a spokesperson for millennials, but it's good.
All right, now what do you think about the next generation?
Oh, Gen Z, which you're teaching in the show.
I don't understand it.
Ah!
But I'm open to it.
Oh, man.
But I'm open.
Oh,
But
man.
I'm open. And I feel like
In my day,
my day, we had cell phones. We didn't have these
Exactly.
implants in the eyes where you could just blink and communicate.
Yep.
We had to type. I still have a. I got carpal tunnel from typing. No shit, you
Can't
blinker.
feel my hand.
You goddamn blinker.
Yeah. So who knows? They got the TikTok and all kinds of stuff that.
you drew the line of TikTok.
Right?
Yeah,
We had to type. We didn't just think about our.
What the hell were flyers?
It onto the wall.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't predict the future, but I know that I don't get it.
It's crazy, man. The robots are coming, dude.
Yeah,
the robots are coming.
They're on their way, man. But
Hey.
I agree completely, man. Let's understand each other and do our best to bring it in. Yeah.
Gabriel Iglesias, you've been on Check It Out.
Check it out.
Thank you, my man.
Check it out.